Little ground cloth here. Little is right. Doesn't fit. Kind of. Yeah. Awesome. There we go. This actually is really nice. You could get a couple, maybe even 3 chairs in here in the shade or out of the rain, whatever the case may be. And you can tie this down for extra security. Nice. In typical Steve fashion, I realized I got this upside down. It should be the other way because these are little storage pouches for down there, and the guy lines are attached to that side. And this has got like a more reflective sun protective coating. So we're going to see if we can flip this around. How tricky could that be, right? Just when I thought I couldn't love this thing anymore. Wow. With the arduous task of setting this up completed, time for step 2, my friends. Well, not cheap here. Tastes amazing. Perfect. And get this set up in a little bit. We cook on the fire tonight. And yeah, we're in a campground, so this at least kind of looks like a tent from the road. Nobody can actually see I'm just here using this as kind of like a heat reflector by the fire. The thermocell insect repeller is doing its job quite nicely. It was kind of swarming with mosquitoes when I showed up, and now I'd be hard-pressed to find one, so thumbs up for that. Here's all the mosquitoes they got trapped in here. Great. This parasol, once it's set up correctly, the guy wires are here, so I can stake those out. I don't know how much wind you really want to be around in these things. You know, they're designed for the beach. They've got little window flaps here that open up. Seems to be storage compartment on each side there that velcros open. So, camping in here, I'm going to put the bear spray in there because it's really hard to open with quality velcro. You could actually throw in a little extra weight in there to hold it down. Then there's other various satchels. It looks like you'd get wet if it rained because there's these vent holes that just open to screens, and then that just drips. Yeah, I can actually stick my hand right up the back here. So, not the best in that regard. But if it starts raining, I'll scooch forward a little bit so I don't get drenched. And this is a fine shelter. Campsite came equipped with a pre-seasoned fire poker. Keep it little duct tape wrap on there. I won't get any slivers. See, like that. Public campgrounds. With all the foliage on the trees this time of year, it's a lot trickier to see your neighbors. If I expect heat tonight, I'm going to have to gather some firewood from my car. Starting a fire, the oldest profession. There's a lot of ins and outs and what have you. A lot of various ways to do it. Some people go really old school with sparkers. Sometimes I cheat and use a blowtorch. Today, we're doing it the old-fashioned way. You light the bag on both sides where the log is, and you put it down, and it should burn for 3 hours. I can believe that when I see it. But if it burns long enough to start the rest of this damp wood, I'll be very pleased. Light there, In she goes. Scavenged logs are dry, but they've been out in the rain. So this crusty old stump behind me is attached to a huge tree, and it's a prime example of the worst possible widowmaker you can come across. Very shallow roots, the whole thing ripped up and tipped over. Thankfully, it went that way away from the campsite, but if the wind were blowing a different way, it would have came down right over here on my umbrella. Ella. Well, it's time to prep some dinner. It'll be a foil pouch tonight, because they're oh so easy. And making some pierogies in a foil pouch with, of course, some sausage and onion, butter. Wrap it up, throw it on there. Couldn't be easier. I got the biggest onion they legally sell. Half of that should be good for my needs. Nothing safer than a dull knife, am I right? Onions are one of those things like mushrooms. They'll cook down to like nothing left. So, like there are lots of them. I'm gonna start with a good base of butter. We'll love a few chunks of this institutional looking butter. It's the cheap kind. A bit of better butter. Some sausage. Then, pierogies. These ones are cottage cheese flavored because I like them for some reason. They used to be frozen. Now they're just somewhere in a state in between. Yeah. Okay. Two more in there. A couple more. Butter. I know what I'm missing. Hold on a second, be right back. That fire's just struggling to exist right now. I'm sure we all know that thing. But when she gets a little more ferocious, stick this on for a long, slow cook. Not that much food for one person. Good to -7 degrees Celsius. Shouldn't be that cold tonight. For those that are new here on this video, perhaps you don't know how you ended up here. Maybe you woke up in the middle of the night and this was just playing. I do weird camping, and there aren't many creepy crawlies around here. There could be possibly garter snakes, but nothing venomous or anything like that. Spiders, we may have a brown recluse or two, but they're very, very rare. So I feel very comfortable sleeping here, aside from the mosquitoes and meat wasps, right under the stars here, basically. And this will be a good setup for the night. And for those that have stumbled down this rabbit hole, it gets weird. It does. The little fire that could. Great. I'm going to keep this off to the side a bit because these pierogies, I usually boil them and pan fry them. And we're just going to try to do that all with the steam and moisture out of the onions and the butter. So I don't want to char anything. I just want to basically simmer this thing right in the foil pouch.
$6 never tasted so good. IHOP's Breakfast Faves combo is now just $6. Featuring IHOP's world-famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order your way. All for just $6. Part of the new $6 House Faves menu. What's happening?
You focus on your next deal. We'll focus on your taxes. Block Advisors by H&R Block serves over 2 million businesses like yours every year. Find an expert who understands the ins and outs of the real estate industry. File with Block Advisors today.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, but thanks to Sky Rizzy and Clearer Skin, I'm all in. With Sky Rizzy, I saw dramatically clearer skin, and many even achieved 100% clear skin.
Don't use allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
With Sky Rizzy, nothing on my skin means everything. Ask your dermatologist about Sky Rizzy today.
I know I can't be the only person thinking that 2 of these would make a full tent. And this pole comes out right to about the middle. And you could probably sleep 3 or 4 people in here. You'd have to come up with some Velcro or something to join them in the middle or throw a tarp over top to seal it up. I do recall reading maybe on the comments of this product that this thing comes off somehow. I haven't had luck with that, but that would be really, really slick. I'm a huge fan of things that set up like that, and this fits the bill. Of course, I am aware that for probably less money, I could get something of equal quality that's actually designed for this specific task. But it's not quite my style. I'm going to push the limits of what this thing can do, and then it's multi-purpose. Because there's a lot of seasons of this year where there's not a ton of mosquito and not a ton of rain. So I think this fits the bill perfectly. You can't beat how easy it sets up. There's no poles to lose. It does need some pegs, but a real quick, easy solution. And you get the fire right here. Acts like a little reflector. Doesn't get any better than this. Let's find out. It's going to be burned. It's going to be delicious. Foil pouches are pretty forgiving usually. And, no exception in this case. That looks like it worked pretty good. Nothing is burned. Things look pretty cooked generally. Yeah, it's onions down at the bottom. How did they do? Don't worry about those. Oh no, they're perfect. They're translucent. Yeah, so this stir it up a little bit here, but yeah, so foil pouches. Yeah, they foil pouches concern me sometimes because I can't tell really how cooked they are. You just open it up and find out, and we did. So sour cream time, because the butter wasn't enough. A couple of dollops of that, and yeah, quite good. Wrapped in foil. I think I'm doing a lot of meals wrapped in foil lately. I should probably move on to on a stick or deep fried. Then balance it out with a salad. Oh, this worked out perfectly. 3 thumbs up. This is something I would do again for sure. Let you know the reason I'm doing this meal tonight. I like to support local, and I went into the small town grocery store, and their freezer was down. I initially planned Swedish meatballs with some asparagus, but the asparagus was late in the season. Those asparagus shots are like the girth of a hot dog, right? Like they're late in the season. They're not those early spring ones that are nice and easy. These things you can probably cut them in half and count the rings. So I looked through the freezer department. Pierogies were in there. You know, the sausage and onion. This is satiating. And I love being satiated.